Hey guys, welcome to You Can Fix Anything. Today we're going to take down this old hanging light, replace it with a new one, a little bit nicer one here. So this one's really old. They kind of painted it in or put some caulking around the top here that you can see. So we're going to cut that off and expose it and pull this one down. First thing you gotta do is make sure it's off. So let's do that. You already did. Okay. Oh, all right. Let's go find the breaker box. Okay, so we shut it off in the breaker. I'm going to cut around the top here with a box cutter. So we're gonna just start by unscrewing this and starting to take it down. Here I'm just going to cut the electrical tape off of the wires, making sure not to actually cut any of the wires. So it's got some nuts that join the wire from the house to the wire at the light. They're white and black, so pretty easy to keep them together. You can just unscrew these. Okay, and then you can pull these apart, and the light is off. So this fixture is pretty long, too long for our purposes. So we're going to shorten this cord. To do that, first thing we're going to do is loosen this up and then pull this cord up and through until we can cut it, and then we'll splice, strip the wires so they all are like this. Okay, so we measured it to the roof. We will now tighten this on so I know where I wanted it. Okay, put this back on. Put this piece back on. Okay, we're gonna cut this wire so it has enough, just enough length to connect to the outlet wires. It just needs a little bit, this is gonna go on here about this, so we'll give it a little bit of extra, and we'll say maybe right here we're gonna cut this. Okay, 3 wires inside. Now we gotta strip off this outer bit without making sure not to cut the inner wires. So we can kind of be careful here. A little bit more space this time. There we go. Good cut. No exposed wire. Okay. Use our wire strippers to cut these. size 14. Okay, there we go. Nice and cut. Similar to how it was before. All right, so I'm just gonna visualize this process. A couple things we had to put together. All right, so here's our mechanism. We're going to connect these wires up to the top. Then we're going to, this piece came with it. We put this into the bracket over the top. This is the piece that was in the roof. We're gonna screw this in up there. Then we're going to connect this wire to one of these green nuts and then try and loop it onto the ground wire on top. And we'll also connect this ground wire into that system. All right, so we're gonna try all that. Okay. All right, we've set this on a couple boxes just so it can rest there while we're connecting everything. So there's the colors up top are black and white. So we're gonna use the black and white here. And the green one, we're gonna connect in a minute. The black and white are of the positive and negatives for the electrical. I'm gonna make sure these are in tight, give them a little pull just to make sure that they're both secure in there. Screw it on. Okay, give it a little tug. It's not coming out, that's good. Tight. So what we're going to do with this green wire is connect it to this little green ground wire here. Okay, so pulling the ground wire into the nut and then screwing that in. So now that ground wire from the light is connected to that bracket. All right, now we're going to take the other ground, we're going to put it in, connect it to the other plate here. Screw this in. And then we're going to connect this up to the ground in the fixture, which is up here. Okay. All right, so we're just wrapping the ground wire around this old school ground thing up here. It's just got a metal, it's got a copper wire up there that is just sitting there. So now I've got it wrapped around that. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this bracket up to the ceiling. So we have the top bracket, which is falling down through here with the screws coming down. And then this bracket is screwed into the ceiling. And there could have been a way to maybe just use this one bracket, this big circular one. But it had the two connections for the different grounds using the two brackets, so I chose to go that way instead. Okay, so before we get it all together, we can test it. All the wiring is in, so let's put a light bulb in it and test it. All right, so we're gonna test it, put a light bulb in, just to make sure all the wiring's good. Things like that. We're gonna flip the breaker back on. Okay, and flip the light. Okay, it all appears to be functioning properly. So we're going to turn the breaker back off and install the rest. Just put the plate back on and then we'll be done. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm pulling up the collar that's on this wire here, and it screws up through the plate into the pieces on the other side of the plate. Now you'll see once that is screwed in that I will tighten up the set screw to make sure that is tight. And this part is really important actually, because this is how we're taking the weight from the wires going directly up into the ceiling and putting them actually onto the bracket. So if someone was to pull down on the fixture, the weight goes onto the brackets. So I screw in these pieces, set the set screw, and then I will add the final little screws onto the ends of those open parts right there, and that will finish it off. Now for our final test, turn the breaker on. All right, so you'll see it works here. So thanks for watching. If you found anything useful, please like and subscribe.